will vote for this party even though it is denied. But it is a fact that we all live with. Is it an advantage? Is it a disadvantage? And indeed, when did this phenomenon start? Is it something that we need to try and eradicate, or there's nothing we can do about it? All across the world, you find that there are certain people who lean towards certain political cultures. Should we even apologize for it? Who knows? With me in the studio to talk about this is Dr. Theophilus Richardson, who is a development economics and political scientist. Joining us on the phone later will be Mustafa Hamid, who is a personal spokesperson for Nana Akufo-Addo, to talk about these things and find out the education about it. Should we take it out or should we? My name is Nana Sakwa and this is PM Express. Well, the final chapter, the NPP has now gotten its executives in place and they are now going to work. But one thing that's been an undertone is the tribalism. Oh, they are a Cree-speaking party and therefore the other people or the other tribes haven't got a fair representative in there. But it's not even the NPP. Across the NDC, you get the same thing that, a certain tribe seem to dominate that political party. Where did it start from? And Dr. Richardson here has got the answers as to how it started, why it started, and indeed if we need to get it out or just brush over it. But we'll focus on the NPP because they've just finished their electing their executives. And Dr. Richards, this issue always keeps coming back. I mean, Asiedun Ketia has been absolutely, annihilated the NPP for saying that, no, they will never give a Northerner a chance. They've never given a Northerner a chance, and that, it's always centered around the tree-speaking Akans. They are favored more in the party. You stand back, and, the facts are that, as to whether they don't give them a chance, the truth is that, the Northerners don't play the number one position a lot within the party. The Tree-speaking people are more dominant in the party, more the Achim and the Asante. But should a tribe apologize because they like a particular party or not?
Should a tribe apologize or not for liking one party or not? Good evening to your cherished viewers. And let me thank you for inviting me to speak on this very important topic.
You're welcome.
On this extraordinarily important program. Nobody can wish away tribalism in the politics of any nation on any continent. Africa is not a country. Like Europe, it's a name of a large mass of land on the surface of the earth. And therefore, Africa consists of a number of tribes, most of which have been amalgamated together into nation states. Okay? And in all the nation states of Africa, you do find tribalism or ethnicity, which is called by political sciences micropolitics or micronationalism, at play at all times. I mean, what is happening in Crimea and Ukraine, I think it's a very good example of the role of ethnicity in politics. In Ghana, particularly, Ghana is an amalgamation of a number of tribes, and a number of tribes which did not agree to live together in one nation state, and therefore, at the heart of the problem is that there is no common identity. There's no common heritage, and there's no what we call a national interest, or common interest they all share in. There has been efforts to achieve national integration from the days of Nkrumah, from independence. All right, Achampon played a very key role, in fostering a sense of oneness, and national integration. First through the introduction of the pledge, and a number of mottos: one nation, one people, one destiny. Which was not new though, but reinvented, and very good example. And even before, and therefore, we should ask ourselves why that was the case. Why that was necessary. Before independence, all right, in 1951. I mean, when in the post Second World War, nationalist struggle, the first party that emerged was the UGCC, United Gold Coast Convention, and that was a party in the Gold Coast colony. Asante was a protectorate annexed by the British in 1901, and so was the Northern Territories, comprising a number of tribes, which were put together by the British, as Northern Territories, and a protectorate. The UGCC was from the Gold Coast, and it had nothing to do with Asante. It had nothing to do with the Northern Territories. The 1951 elections was held in the Gold Coast without any representation from Asante or the Northern Territories. If you go to the history book, you find that what was done was that electoral colleges were established in those, or were introduced in those areas. And until 1954, when the Asante had as its first representative Mr. Asafo Adjei, okay, in the Legislative Council, there was no representation from the other two areas. It was from 1954 that we saw the role of tribes in our national politics. In 1954, we had the formation of the NLM, National Liberation Movement, which was a protest movement principally against the fixing of cocoa prices at 72 shillings per ton by Kwame Nkrumah in order to promote development. Asante region was the leading cocoa producing region. They were unhappy about it. But not only Asante region cocoa farmers, but all cocoa farmers in the colony and Asante, including the Brongahafo, all right? And they came together to form a movement to resist this pricing policy by Nkrumah. Unfortunately, because of certain tendencies by some Asantes in the NLM, the people in the South, kind of retreated. They withdrew, and that paved the way even for Nkrumah to win the 1956 election. In fact, Bafo Sakoto and his men said that they're going to invade the South. And the chiefs in the Kumfi and other areas said, what do they mean by that? So they withdrew their support, and that gave the people some leeway. In the same year, as the NLM was formed as a protest movement against the facing of cocoa pricing, we had the emergence of other parties along ethnic lines and religious lines. Early in 1954, we had the formation of the Muslim Association Party led by Alhaji Ahmedu Baba, which was originally the Muslim Association. Okay, the Muslim Association. Then we also had the formation of the Togoland Congress Party, and the Association of Youth Organization of Federation, both in the Volta region. And then came the Northern People's Party, which was formed on 11th of April 1954. And if we go into history, the Northern People's Party was formed primarily and principally to promote the interests of the peoples of the North. And they did declare openly, explicitly, without any apologies, without any qualms, that the North for the Northness. And they meant to achieve respect for the people of the North. They meant to achieve equal treatment for the people of the North. And they meant to bridge the gap between the North and the South. I can read for you their aims and objectives, as published, or, well, what do I say? Authenticated by Dennis Austin in his book. All right. The Togoland Congress Party will also emerge, in order to promote the interests of the people of the Ewe tribe. In particular, their desire or zeal to form a homeland under an Ewe leadership with all the Ewe tribes, not only in the West Transvolta Togoland, but in present-day Togo, the East Transvoted Togoland, President Togo, and even in Benin. And that was as much legitimate as any other cause, because after all, they were under a League of Nations mandate, and later on a United Nations trusteeship, because they were a German colony, and because of the defeat of Germany in the First World War, they came under these, and they felt that were it not for these arrangements which separated them, they would have lived together as a nation. From that time, there was ethnicity in Ghanaian politics. Political parties were formed along not only ethnic lines, but even religious, as I've shown. Muslim Association Party. And that was a serious challenge to national integration even before independence. Nkrumah's response was appropriate, that he introduced in December 1957 the Avoidance of Discrimination Act, which was originally the Political Parties Act, in order to, to kind of stem or stop, to nip in the bud, as it were, these subnational, parochial, tribal tendencies which seem to tear the country apart. And if all the policies of Nkrumah were not, were not liked or were disliked or did not fall in favor in the eyes of most Ghanaians, I think this policy was a very good one. Otherwise, the nation would have been torn apart. And it was in response to this policy that all the small parties, the Northern People's Party, which was led at that time by S.D. Dembo, the Ghana Congress Party formed by Buzia, the J. Buzia, in the early part, I think around 1952, Buzia was never a member of the UGCC. The Northern People's Party, the Togoland Congress Party, the Association of Youth Organization, Muslim Association Party, all the small parties, came together to form the United Party in order to circumvent the Avoidance of Discrimination Act. These parties were a disparate group of people who came together, did not have any common interest except for the NLM and the Togoland Congress Party. And I would like to make this difference clearly. NLM originally asked for federalism. Within independent Ghana, the Togoland Congress Party asked for a secession, in federation with the areas in Togo, present-day Togo and Benin. And, the aims, there was no commonality of aims. What fused them together or brought them together was just to avoid Nkrumah's Avoidance of Discrimination Act. And tribalism has since that time played a role. Indeed, Nkrumah did very well. That through patronage, he was able to win some leading members of the Northern People's Party to his side. Prominent amongst them being J. Barima, and Mr. Abavana, but some of them were all too soon to be involved in corruption cases and all that,
Let me acknowledge Mustafa Hamid, who's joined us on the phone now. Yeah. Mustafa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my brother. Hope you're well.
Well, very well, very well. We're talking about a subject, and I'm sure you would want to add your picture. We're just looking at tribalism in our politics, and I'm asking, does one apologize for it, or do we just, accept it and move on? But I'll let Dr. land on his point, and then I'll bring you in.
Yeah. Mr. Tedam, C.K. Kedam, actually, opted for the CPP. There was a strong nationalist movement in the north, following the expression of that desire, and he went for the CPP. That's well documented. Okay. If you look at the pathology of coups and instability in Ghana, there's a very strong ethnic, underpinnings. In 1979, the parties were around ethnic groups. In fact, the northern people came together to debate whether they should put their support, behind PNP or PFP. That number, one lawyer, Al-Hazani, who became the running mate as of Edubuahin, brought that they should form their own Northern People's Party. That did not materialize, and he stood as an independent candidate and he won. Even before that, 1969, we know the circumstances surrounding the formation of the Progress Party and how the Progress Party won, more or less on a platter, as has been argued. There's much to that. But now, the National Alliance of Liberals, led by Barima, was very much an Ewe party. And even before that, if you looked at the politics in Ghana, there were times that prominent people were put up in Ewe land, MK Apalu for the Association of Youth Federation or Organization. They lost because the leading party at the time was Togrand Congress Party, which promoted the Ewe cause. In 1969, Progress Party put up prominent Ewes. I don't want I stand for correction. Mr. FK Apalu, one of the Apalus, they did not win because the people, the Ewes voted for an Ewe-led party. That has been true. In 1979, Social Democratic Front won a number of seats in the northern region because it was an northern-led party. So ethnicity has been, I would say, not only the bane of Ghanaian politics, but the whole of Africa. And no apology, it has to do with how the nations of Africa, Ghana, for example, was incorporated together, comprising a number of tribes which were,
Mustafa in here, and then I'll get you to continue. Mustafa, so we are in 2014. Is it a norm that we accept, or should we change, and how do we change? I mean, should we get to a point where it's Ghana first, or is it always going to be, I'm from the Eastern region first before I became Ghanaian, or I'm from the Volta before I became Ghanaian, and therefore, in terms of choosing a political party, I want to find one that's closer to the Volta region or one that's closer to the Eastern region?
Well, first of all, I must agree with the man in the studio.
Dr. Richardson, yeah.
I'm not watching. Dr. Richardson.
Yes.
Yes, I must say that his submissions are very brilliant and on point. Mm-hmm. The fact is that in Africa, it is difficult to divorce ethnicity from multi-party democracy in Africa.
But that's what I've said.
And I think
he agrees with you.
Very strongly. Mm-hmm. All over Africa, wherever you go, whether it is in Uganda or Tanzania, there are parties that are predominantly supported by either the Buganda people or Maasai people, or that even the Kenyan elections of 2007 that resulted in that conflict and so on. Mm-hmm. It was basically ethnic. That is the nature of African societies, and that is why some people argue that multi-party, as it is fashioned out by the West, should not be applied hook, line, and sinker in the African situation, because the Western societies are modeled differently from African society. Well, be that as it may, we all seem to have agreed that multi-party democracy is perhaps the most viable, if you want, option that we have in terms of how we should choose our leaders and order our societies and so on. If that is the case, then it means that we have to acknowledge that the ethnicity will be part of it. But what we shouldn't do is to exploit that ethnicity for our selfish and parochial interests, which most often than not leads to conflagrations and conflicts and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So that is why most political parties in Africa, if you want to work out these ethnic permutations into the organization of their political parties, for example, the NPP has just come out of its National Delegates Conference, and the NPP is excited because it has a northern person as its chairman. Mm-hmm. And now they are saying that, well, the NDC can no longer do a propaganda and say that the NPP is an Akan party and so on, which means that this ethnicity, so to speak, has inured to the benefit of the NPP, so to speak, and has sort of but, if we go on a national scale and we say, for example, vote for this particular candidate because he comes from this particular region or he comes from this ethnic group, don't vote for this fellow because he comes from that ethnic group. That is what I consider dangerous, because then it means that you are deliberately a wedge between the citizens of this nation, and that could lead us into trouble. But otherwise, to acknowledge that ethnicity, it's all right, it's part of our political situation, but to try to take the good of it and work it into a beautiful symmetry that allows all the ethnicities to coexist within our various political parties and to cooperate with the development of our nation, that's fine.
Mustafa, you raised a very sensitive point, which I want to touch on again. I mean, if you go to the UK or America and you ask somebody, where are you from? I'm from the Bronx. Why? Because I was born in Bronx. Or I'm from Stanmore. So how can he be from Stanmore? Well, because I was born in Stanmore. So even though their parents might have migrated from Yorkshire or Scotland, just because he was born in Edgware, to him, he's from Edgware. So, just bring him that. So, for us to practice there, because with here, somebody be born in Kolebu, you ask me and say, no, I'm from Oboming. Even though they were born in Kolebu, they don't think that they are from Kolebu, just by mere fact they were born there. However, in the Western world, wherever they are born, they believe that it means, this is where I am from. And so practicing their system could be quite detrimental, and I think it's proving.
Well, we too somehow have found a way of going around it. The 1992 Constitution is that for you to qualify to run for parliament in any particular place, you can do so on two premises. One, that you hail from the place, i.e. that your mother or father hail from that place, or that you have been resident in that place for a cumulative period of 5 years. Okay. Now, this 5 years thing that we have put there is to take care of people who don't hail there ethnically, or who don't hail from the place ethnically, but have been born and have lived and have conducted their lives and everything from that place. That way, for me, is a way by which we seek to bring about some cohesion. And we have seen all the Akomiers and the Esla Ousus and the rest of them who are from the Eastern region and so on, who have been and continue to be members of parliament in Greater Accra region, which, so to speak, is supposed to be a Ghana place. So I think that somehow we've done well. We've done service to ourselves by acknowledging that you shouldn't just hail from there ethnically, but that if you were born there, raised there, or even if you migrated to the place and have lived there for 5 years, you qualify to represent the people. I think that for me, that's the beauty of how we have been able to go around the ethnic thing. And for me, it's fine.
Well, you wanted to comment on that?
Yes. Well, that is a constitutional provision. It's good because that's the provision, the law that exists in many places, because you might be familiar with the place. But the point there is that if you look at where NPP have won in Greater Accra, there are those areas which are very much cosmopolitan. And NDC have made this argument time and again that if you go to the typical Ghana areas, NPP have not been winning. So there is a reason why NPP has not been winning in typical Ghana areas.
I'll take a break and then you come and tell me why NPP is not winning in the grassroots but only the cosmopolitan area. We want to find out why. Stay tuned, we're coming straight back.
I'll take care of you.
All it takes is letting go.
I'll always be by your side.
It's only when you do that you truly win.
Wipe away your tears. I'll be your best friend.
That's when you experience the magic of each moment. Like it's the first time. All it takes is letting go. A great man once said, the world is won by those who let go. At Star Assurance, we take care of the things you care about, so you're free to be all you can be. Let go and let Star. Talk to us today. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
With all these electricity outages, wouldn't you want to own a fund that provides cool breeze, bright lights, and even enables you to charge your phone when the lights are out. Introducing the all-new Quality Rechargeable Fan. Quality Rechargeable Fan comes with a rechargeable battery that automatically kicks in when the power goes out and works for up to 8 hours, long enough for a good night's sleep. This fan has a super bright LED light feature that comes in handy when your lights are out. This fantastic fan also has a USB portal that you can use to charge any kind of phone. And that's not all. The Quality Rechargeable Fan has anti-rust properties, stylish design, charging indicator, and a backup battery that cuts down your electricity bill. That's 100% value for money. The Quality Rechargeable Fan comes in 18 and 22 inches. For wholesale inquiries, call 0302-242-532. This fan is available on hire purchase to police, army personnel, or government employees, corporate bodies, and the general public for as low as 38 cedis per month. Also available in Monrovia, Liberia, at Syndicated Capital Liberia, located at Camp Johnson Road and UN Drive. Call 088-888-5586. Quality Rechargeable Fan. Electricity or no electricity, air they blow, light they bright, even your phone serve they charge.
Quality from Syndicated Capital.
Sometimes your body wakes up, but your mind doesn't. Don't just get up, wake up with the great taste of Lipton.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah.
People all around the world enjoy the rich, refreshing taste of Lipton Yellow Label tea.
Get a feeling that I never had before. Don't know, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Join the world of Lipton Yellow Label every morning. The #1 tea brand in the world. Source, Euromonitor International.
Are you struggling with your phone calls? Is that you? Or you? You here? Is it this? Or that? You don't have to tie your hands to a call. Let Quality Bluetooth free you up. Quality Bluetooth has 6 hours continuous talk time and 170 hours standby. It's easy, convenient, safe, and it is compatible with any Bluetooth-enabled device, Skype, Yahoo Messenger, and MSN. It is compatible with any phone. It has very clear sound even in a noisy area. Plus, you get 1 year limited manufacturer's warranty. For motorists, businessmen, nursing mothers, hairstylists, and all cell phone users, don't just buy a Bluetooth headset. Buy the best. Buy quality. For wholesale inquiries, contact 020-441-3484.
Now available in Monrovia, Liberia at Camp Johnson Road and UN Drive. Call 088-888-5568 or 088-8455-586.
Quality from Syndicated Capital.
The thing about mobile water is it's natural, refreshing, and always convenient. Now, with the new mobile water refill machine, I can refill my jar with no human intervention.
As soon as you insert your bottle, the machine takes it through a foaming process, rinsing, sterilizing, and then in seconds your jar is filled with mobile water.
It feels so much safer because the same jug I brought is the same jug I'm taking home.
The good thing about this is you'll be witnessing the production dates of your own bottled water. Mobile water, natural, refreshing, and always convenient.
Introducing the all-new Quality LCD TV, the most affordable LCD TV in town, built with you in mind. With inbuilt DVD combo player, you don't need a separate DVD player. USB memory input for truly multimedia capability. This TV can be used as a computer screen and comes with a free wall mount worth 80 Ghana cedis, but yours for free. And for the first time, inbuilt surge protection against power fluctuation. Quality TVs won't break down when the power surges. 24, 32, and 42-inch models starting at just 650 Ghana cedis. Also available on hire purchase to all government employees, police, army personnel, and the general public for as low as 99 Ghana cedis per month. Call 0302-242-532 or 0204-413-484. Watch the African Cup of Nations in style on a Quality TV.
Have you ever thought of how unpredictable life can be? We all design our dreams and future as blissful and flawless as possible. For example, we plan to go to school, get a job, make a family, build or buy a home, and live a comfortable life. But what is not guaranteed us is security and peace of mind. For life itself has in its hands the mystery of the unexpected. But no matter your dreams, we at Star Life Assurance believe that you and your dreams should not be terminated by the unexpected. That is why with integrity, empathy, and passion for excellence, we protect you with unique financial security solutions so you don't fade away when the unexpected stray your way. Star Life Assurance, your financial anchor.
We at Joy FM say thank you to our cherished listeners for your support every year. As we huddle with our own families during Easter, let's not forget the homeless and destitute sleeping on the streets. Join Joy FM, donors and volunteers on 20th April 2014, Easter Sunday at Efwa Sutherland Children's Park from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. to feed, provide medical aid, counsel and entertain the less privileged in our society. Hebrews 13:16 says, "Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God." You can donate charitably towards this cause at the offices of Joy FM or call 0302 216 540 or 0244 663 968. And we will gladly pick up your donations. The 2014 Easter Soup Kitchen is powered by your superstation Joy 99.7 FM with support from our cherished listeners and clients.
Welcome to this very educative and informative program as to the amount of tribalism we have within our politics. From there, we're going to move down to the functions within our politics. If we need indeed to stop it, apologize for it, or just let it roll. But before we went on the break, Dr. Richardson was just telling us why the NPP would win in cosmopolitan areas and lose in non-cosmopolitan areas. So I'll let you finish your point.
Not only NPP, Kwame Nkrumah and CPP, his CPP's Nationalist Party, faced that challenge. Nkrumah did not win in the north, in 1956. He did not win in the Volta region, Trans-Volta, Tokuland, especially in the Ewe land, all right, in 1956. And as I did indicate, Nkrumah had to use state resources through patronage to win them over. But for the influence of Bedema must make this, they made substantial inroads in the Keita and Law area. So it's been a recurring problem, or it's been a problem that has lived with us. NPP will win, or has been winning in these areas, even in areas where there is a substantial proportion of educated people, in the population, in the constituency. If you go to certain places in even Eweland, okay, which is the NDC stronghold, NPP has been winning in certain constituency polling stations where the voting population is very much educated. And this has to do basically with the role of ethnicity and the manipulation of local issues. Okay? So as Nkrumah did face that problem, Buzias transcended it because it was a different situation. In 1979 elections, ethnicity came to play. This is not extraordinary. NDC has been making inroads in local areas because principally of the long reign of the PNDC, 11 years of PNDC rule and 8 years of NDC rule, which enabled that group of politicians using the state machinery and the NDC or the PNDC as a political machine, coupled with the use of state resources to buy the leading opinion leaders in all the regions, in all the constituencies, which came up in 1992, and even in all the local areas where local politics or issues could have been used. So in 1992, for example, the NDC could buy Mr. Munifie and J.H. Owusu Achampon, who were leading members of the Progress Party.
When you say buy, maybe convince.
well, let me use in quotes, buy in quotes. In other words, they could, buy over to their side, not by bribery and all that, but, and Kwekuba, who was the first leading minority spokesman for the PFP in Parliament in 1979, even joined the NDC in 1993. Mr. A.M. Isifu was the party's chairman, I think, with Wudioya as the general secretary. So, with that, their control, their dominance, manipulation of the political space, their monopolization of the political space, and the monopolization of the economic space as well, they could, use patronage to bring on board all. And that enabled the PNDC and the NDC, its, child, to penetrate the nooks and crannies of the country. And so now, NDC it's a formidable party. Its strength cannot be downplayed. NPP, as it was formed, had to grow out of the shadows. Danko Buzia party, that did not help. That helped, but did not help at the same time. It has been, complicated by this nomenclature, Danko Buzia Dombo tradition, I suppose, which was invented by Professor Malokwe. And I think it is his imagination. Because, as I've indicated, these recent assertions or claimed by people that NPP has its roots in the North is neither here or there. The NPP was formed in 1992 principally as a result of, led by Dubois, the Ghanaian Sphinx, the lecture on the Ghanaian Sphinx, the men on horseback and the culture of silence. Edubuayin broke the culture of silence. Many people joined the NPP not because they were admirers of Dankwa, no admirers of Buzia, but because of Edubuayin, and his ability, his courage to break the culture of silence. The UGCC, which was the party of Dankwa, was more or less moribund.
Let me acknowledge Mustafa, and then we'll move on to functionalism.
Now, if I could make this point.
Okay, if you learn for me.
Yes, it is not rooted. The party moved on. Buzia, who was not a member from the Ghana Congress Party, and Dankwa accepted his leadership. They moved on. And a number of tribes, tribal or religious tribes, parties came on board, and the country moved on till we got independence. The NPP was formed, Nothing People's Party, in April 1954. That time, Dankwa and others, Obitibilamte, who formed the Ghana National Party, had all lived before the Nothing People's Party. So this confusion, NPP, I think, is suffering from a crisis of identity. And it should have accepted that, well, given the circumstances at the time in 1992, we could make our appeal to some Akan areas, not all Akan areas. If NPP accepted that it was an Akan party, there would have been nothing wrong with that. NDC is seen more as an Ewe Northern party. But as I've indicated, because of their use of patronage, they'll be able to penetrate the other. So the situation is very complex.
Let me acknowledge and bring Mustafa in here.
Complicated. And NPP must not make things difficult for themselves by claiming all kinds of things which do not exist either in history or in contemporary times.
Thank you. Mustafa, you are in the heart of NPP, and we've always known about the Dankwa Buzia Dombo, and here we are saying that the Dombo is a newcomer and indeed probably not part of the original heritage of the party.
Even Buzia did not join the UGCC. The Dankwa
let me hear Mustafa.
I just want to make this clarity. The Dankwa Blay Grant Party, Buzia did not join it.
Hello, Mustafa.
Hello, yes,
good.
I'm listening.
Okay, so Doctor is saying that this identity crisis which the NPP seem to have, like Dankwa, Buzia, Dombo, and he's saying, we're from the Dombo because, if you go back into history, there was no Dombo then. The original NPP, which was the Northern People's Party, had their own agenda and wanted to be on themselves. But here we are, the NPP, trying to, inculcate them into your tradition. How does it work?
Well, it's a very simple matter. He's presented some historical facts. But when he came to talking about the UP, where all these MLM, Northern People's Party, Togoland Congress, all these parties that were formed on the basis of ethnicity and religion, including the Muslim Association Party and all of them, came together and formed the United Party. That's where the UP tradition comes from. So if you say UP tradition and it is acceptable, then it must as well be acceptable to say Dankwa Buzia Dombo tradition, because it is the Dankwa tradition, the Buzia tradition, and the Dombo tradition, which is represented by the Northern People's Party, that's amalgamated into the United Party. And that's what the NPP is saying. NPP is not saying that this NPP exclusively has its roots from the Northern People's Party. Absolutely not. What we are saying is that our forebears, to whom almost every northern politician looks up to, all the people he mentioned, J. Barima, Mumuni Baumia, Adama Mande, Datu Kalio, and all that, that all of these people, when they wanted a home, in order to avoid increment, whatever he called it, avoidance of discrimination act and blah, 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 found alliance with Buzia and his people, which became the United Party. So what the NPP is saying to the northern people is that your forebears found the Dankwa Buzia tradition as a better home for us than other parties. And therefore, if we are looking for a natural home today, they believe that our antecedents are in the NPP. That's all. That's all the argument. Nobody is saying that the NPP has been founded solely on the ideals of Northern People's Party. Nobody has said that. The ideals on which the Northern People's Party was founded are very clear. They said they wanted the development of the North. They thought that there was an imbalance as far as Northern development and Southern development are concerned, and etc., etc. So we have never made that claim. Dankwa was part of the UGCC. Buzia, he says, yes, was not part of the UGCC. But Buzia's philosophy, okay, which was basically, if you want, a carryover or of the what's his name, J.D. Dankwet's philosophy of liberalism, free market economy, and so on. Who better mirrored that idea than Buzia? Certainly, he wasn't socialist, so he was a carryover of J.D. Dankwet's, if you want, vision. And then he went into parliament. He was in the minority. The person who was in the majority was Dombo, and Dombo agreed to make him leader. Dombo should have been leader of the opposition. But Dombo, if you want, acquiesced to the leadership of Buzia and gave him the leadership. And therefore they became, if you want, allies in parliament. And so if we say it is Dankwa, Buzia and Dombo, I don't think that we have committed any crime at all. And it is not to distort history, but to say that once upon a time there was this alliance and this was our natural home. And since this is the party of Buzia today, we believe that Northerners should come on board with that. I think that is an intelligent argument to make, and there's nothing wrong with it. Very good.
I'm going to take a break here. When I come back, we're going to look at factionalism within the party. Now, everywhere you go, I mean, Clinton supported Obama, I mean, there's always people within a party who have a candidate who they believe and support them. But however, in our side of the world, it's almost criminal to say that, he's in Nana's camp, he's in Chairman's camp. What difference is it between us and others? Stay tuned, we're coming back.
With all these electricity outages, wouldn't you want to own a fan that provides cool breeze, bright lights, and even enables you to charge your phone when the lights are out? Introducing the all-new Quality Rechargeable Fan. Quality Rechargeable Fan comes with a rechargeable battery that automatically kicks in when the power goes out and works for up to 8 hours, long enough for a good night's sleep. This fan has a super bright LED light feature that comes in handy when your lights are out. This fantastic fan also has a USB portal that you can use to charge any kind of phone. And that's not all. The Quality Rechargeable Fan has anti-rust properties, stylish design, sign, charging indicator, and a backup battery that cuts down your electricity bill. That's 100% value for money. The quality rechargeable fan comes in 18 and 22 inches. For wholesale inquiries, call 0302-242-532. This fan is available on hire purchase to police, army personnel, all government employees, corporate bodies, and the general public for as low as 38 cedis per month. Also available in Monrovia, Liberia, at Syndicated Capital Liberia, located at Camp Johnson Road and UN Drive. Call 088-888-5586. Quality rechargeable fan. Electricity or no electricity, air they blow, light they bright, even your phone serve they charge.
Quality from Syndicated Capital.
Sometimes your body wakes up, but your mind doesn't. Don't just get up, wake up with the great taste of Lipton. People all around the world enjoy the rich, refreshing taste of Lipton Yellow Label tea. Join the world of Lipton Yellow Label every morning. The #1 tea brand in the world. Source, Euromonitor International.
Are you struggling with your phone calls? Is that you? Or you? You here? Is it this? Or there? You don't have to tie your hands to a call. Let Quality Bluetooth free you up. Quality Bluetooth has 6 hours continuous talk time and 170 hours standby. It's easy, convenient, safe, and it is compatible with any Bluetooth-enabled device, Skype, Yahoo Messenger, and MSN. It is compatible with any phone. It has very clear sound even in a noisy area. Plus, you get 1 year limited manufacturer's warranty. For motorists, businessmen, nursing mothers, hairstylists, and all cell phone users, don't just buy a Bluetooth headset. Buy the best. Buy quality. For wholesale inquiries, contact 020-441-3484.
Now available in Monrovia, Liberia at Camp Johnson Road and UN Drive. Call 088-888-5568 or 088-8455-586.
Quality from Syndicated Capital.
Wow! Exquisite. Splendid. Obas Golden Plaza Hotel. They have the best facilities so far. Big beds for all night long. They have well-furnished conference rooms and beautiful dining halls for all your events. Locate them at New Abrim, 20 minutes drive from Nkoko. Visit Obas Golden Plaza Hotel. Call them on 0343 122 311 or 0343 122 065. Visit Obas Golden Plaza for a memorable experience.
Well, it gets more exciting. It gets more exciting. And before I just start the conversation, let me just remind any business or individual listening that if you have any donations, rice, oil, food, clothing, anything at all that you can donate towards the Easter Soup Kitchen, get in touch with Joy FM and submit it, and it will go a long way to give a destitute person some comfort. But Mustafa, before we start, functionalism within a party. Every party, there's an individual who prefers a particular individual for one reason or the other. I have known you for long. I believe your leadership skills or whatever your reason is. However, in our side of the world, it almost becomes criminal. Oh, he's a chairman team person. Oh, there's the males function and the Mahama function. And it becomes almost criminal where, you know, if you come out and say that, well, I believe in this person, you know, you're chastised. Is it wrong, or it's just that we are not approaching it properly?
Well, I think that we are not approaching it properly. There's nothing wrong with it. And indeed, for me, I would even go further to say that factionalism it's human nature. Not even that it is part of human nature, but that it is human nature. There is no way any two people or 3 or 4 people gathered would almost always agree on one thing. So as far as human beings have divergent opinions, it is okay within a political party for people to differ about who they think qualifies to lead a party or occupy a certain position, and so on and so forth. And indeed, that's the basis of multi-partyism, that there must be competition, both inter and intra. So if there is competition, and some of us are bound to support A and some of us are bound to support B, but what we have to do is to have the larger goal of the organization in view, that we are only doing this in order to select the best for the ultimate battle. And that once the best is selected for the ultimate battle, that all of us rally around and support the fellow. But sometimes these things are so deeply ingrained that a particular candidate, even when the primaries becomes president, and those who supported his opponent, are victimized, they are left out of government. Sometimes people are even told in their faces, one day President Bibeba or Beshemo and all that. Meanwhile, they are all in the same party. So you find people in a party which is in power saying that, well, as for me, my party is in power, but I'm in opposition. Why? Because he or she is perceived to have supported one candidate or another. So I would say that is the approach and the mentality that we have as people who are operating that sort of system. Maybe because it's an alien system. Under our traditional political organizations, we didn't have this adversarial way of doing things and so on. But now that the white man has brought us multi-party democracy and so on, we are trying to adjust to it as Africans, and then we are carrying our African nature into it, and that has made it so adversarial and made us so intolerant of one another. I don't think that it is correct.
I mean, with at the moment, it is believed that Afoko is more a Tremantin man, Kwabena Japon is more a Tremantin man. I hear Samia Wuku is sort of 50-50, and, generally Nana Addo is sort of, maybe tipped or most popular among the candidates to become the leader. So then it turns out, are the executives going to work well with him? Are they going to gel? Then that becomes a big question for the NPP now.
Well, it is. But on the other hand, it is an opportunity that we can exploit, for the greater good. You know what Martin Luther King said? He said, you can hew a stone of hope, I think he said, out of a mountain of despair. Now that, let's assume that indeed that is the case, that Afoko and Kwabena Japon do not, or anti-Nana Addo. Now they have the party structure. Nana Addo and his people, certainly I have absolutely no doubt that Nana Addo would win any flag bearership contest in the NPP today. Now, so Nana Addo and his faction, so to speak, will have the candidate, will have the flag bearer, then this other group will have the party. For me, that's good. That's beautiful. So it means that everybody has a chip of the block, and then everybody is holding a piece of it, and then we all will realize that, then we need to put those pieces together to make it whole. If I hold my piece and you hold your piece, then that's the problem. But if all of the whole cake was in one person's hands, that's when the other people become destructive.
Let me bring...
Okay, then we are being left out, so let's fight them and ensure that all of us don't win power.
As far
as I'm concerned, this is good.
Good. Let me bring Doctor in here. Doctor, now you have 2 minutes to round up.
Yes. Factionalism ties in very well with the issue of tribal. I would like to make this point about it. The NPP was formed in 1992 as a movement to resist military authoritarian rule, okay? And all they talk about tradition, when you're talking about traditions, whether along economic ideology or political ideology, this must be clarified. The party must ask itself, if there was a tradition, why the Northerners did not vote for either PFU or UNC in 1979, and why they have not voted for them. So yes, for now, it is a legitimate, or it's a good thing to make this appeal that they must look actually to their past to find out where they really belong. That is a task they must do, and if they want to do, they must do it very well. Factionalism and NPP is not a new thing. It goes back to even Dankwa's time. Okay? And unfortunately, we don't have much time. But the way Dankwa was, supplanted by Buzia and all that has to do with factionalism. And this election, the party had really suffered, been in opposition for over 30 years. Now they came to power in, 2000? After 8 years, they lose power, all because of factionalism. Political parties are not homogeneous. Political parties is an association, political parties is an association of like-minded individuals. But within the political party, you can have various groups which may agree or disagree on various issues. What is critical is how the parties manage these, internal divisions.
Round here for me.
Okay, in such a way that it does not lead to factions or fractures that are not conciliable, that are irreconcilable. And this is what I think has happened to the NPP. Unfortunately, even from 1992, well, 1992, there was that group, the PFU group was saying that it was the UNC people who broke away in 1979, and that led to their lack of defeat. Excuse me.
They will cut me off.
Yes, but if we go back to that, we should ask why Afrifa joined UNC and not PFP. Now, this factionalism in the party is real, and I think Obrin Japan has learned his lessons. I don't think the party chairman will want to sabotage Akufo-Addo should Akufo-Addo emerge as the leader for them to lose elections. So what matters is how they sell their candidate well. There are divisions within NDC. NDC have learned to know how to sell its candidate very well.
Thank you.
Akufo-Addo has lots of candidations. They must sell him well, and they must stop this division. But if they are not able to do that, the party will disintegrate in 2016.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I wish we had more time for this interesting conversation, but that's all time will allow us. But then again, I'm reminding you, if you have any goodies that you think would benefit the destitute, send it to Joy FM. Again, people of Edumasa, Akwamu, Chekiti and all that areas, I'm reminding Easter is this weekend, and we are all going home to prepare. So gear up and let us go. Thank you for watching. And as I say, tomorrow we'll be back to do it all over again.